So here's a quick tutorial on the Laura's Little Notebook cover. So you've got all your stuff cut out. I'm a little bit of ahead. But anyway, once you have all your stuff cut out, then you're going to take a lining and a main that has been, the main here has the shape flex on it. The lining does not. You're going to sew it together. And I'm making 2 sets at once, so I've gone ahead and sewn all those. And then once they're sewn, you want to open them up, and it will help to press your seam to one side, and then you're going to fold it back and line it up and then press. All right, and then once that's done, see, there's the main, there's the lining, then you're going to top stitch down one side, okay, the side that you folded, and then you have your raw edge side here, and that will get sewn into your notebook thing as you sandwich everything together. All right, so there's your sides. And then for your little tabs, you're going to take your piece here, and once it's open flat, you're going to find the 3-inch side or the longest side, and you're going to iron that over 1/4 of an inch so there's no raw edge on the end of your tab. And then you're going to fold it in half, and you're going to give it a good press so you can find your middle line. Then you're going to open it, and then you're going to fold each of your raw edges in and give that a good press. And then you're going to fold it in half and give that a good press. And then once you have all your tabs made, these are finished, all right, then you're just going to top stitch all the way around, and you're going to leave a raw edge there. Okay, so this was your folded edge, so there's no raw edge sticking out, and there's the top stitch. Might be easier to see on the blue there. Okay, so once you're ready to assemble, you're going to take your lining, all right, and I've already fused all my shape flex to all my pieces. The lining pieces have no shape flex. All right, and then you're going to take your little sleeves, and you're going to put the main side right up, and you're going to align everything there. All right, and then you're going to bring this one over and do it to this side like that. And then what I do with this side, you can put your tab on whatever, but I always put it so it's on the bottom. I'm going to just fold that in half so I find my middle line. And then I'm going to take a tab, making sure that the non-raw edge is facing in, and the raw edge is facing all the other raw edges. And there's my middle. And then once I find my middle, I just kind of place it so it's in the middle, just like that. Again, all the raw edges are lined up. So that's what it looks like so far. And then you take my main piece and you lay it on top, right side down. All right, now I'm going to clip everything together. All right, so you can pin and clip as much as you want. I especially put a clip where the tab is so it doesn't move. And then I mark out an opening on the bottom. Because I'm a big forgetter, sometimes I'm just sewing along and I forget to stop and start. So I always mark out my opening with my shape, with my Pilot friction pens here that erase with heat. And then there's the back. Just make sure everything is all lined up. You want to make sure you do that. And then you're going to put it in your sewing machine, and you're going to back tack, and you're going to sew all the way around and back tack at the ends. And then we'll clip the corners and turn it inside out. All right, real quick, that's what it looks like with the corners clipped. Now I'm going to go into my opening and turn it inside out. All right, so once it's turned inside out, these corners need to be poked out, and there's lots of things that you can use. These are some of the tools I have, the green things from the Quilted Cow. I have this one. You can use the end of a paintbrush. You can use a pencil or pen very carefully. Just whatever you use to go along and poke out all your seams, and especially your corners, to make sure they're nice and as 90-degree as they can be. All right, so once that's done, you're going to take it to the iron and give it a nice press. I left my opening at the bottom, and then I folded under my fabric to align everything as I pressed it. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and just top stitch all the way around my notebook cover, and then I'm going to insert the snaps. So now it's time to insert the snaps. You'll need two flat pieces there. And then you'll need one that looks like this and one that looks like that, because that piece will get inserted into that piece. So I'm going to turn this around, and I'm just going to take my friction pen and I'm going to mark where I want, I just eyeball it, where I want my hole to be. And I don't have anything super fancy. I just use my seam ripper, and I insert my seam ripper, and I just gently like turn around the circle and just gently give a little rip on as I go around to make a hole big enough for that to fit in. Okay, once I have a hole big enough, there's the inside. So the flat piece goes on the outside, okay? And then it doesn't matter which one you put on, whatever one you prefer. I'm just gonna choose this one. And then I just align it. And then I press down to snap it. I know it's not all the way down, so I'm gonna take the back of my seam ripper and I'm just gonna, here, the snap. Give it a press, and there it is, there's that one. So now I have to align the other one, and so I'm gonna close it. And then I'm not gonna do it all the way. I wanna give a little bit of space for the notebook that's inside or anything else. And then I just like carefully lift this, and then I use my friction pen to kind of mark where I think the center would be. If I have like a dark color, what I've done before is I have this chalk. I just unscrew this, right, and I make sure most of it's down. I unscrew this very carefully, and then the powder is sticking up in here, and then I just push this into the powder to get a little chalk on it. And then I bring it over and I stamp on the darker colored material where I want it, and it leaves a nice imprint of the chalk, so it's easy for me to see where the center is. But anyway, I'm gonna make my mark. All right, so I made my mark, and what you wanna do is when you make the hole, you wanna be very careful you don't go through this sleeve. So I put my fingers in here to move this sleeve up, so when I'm poking my seam ripper through, I'm only ripping through that part. Yeah, you don't want to go through there, and so that it only goes through that part and not through the sleeve there. Right, and then once you have your hole big enough, you're going to poke that through. The flat side is actually in the sleeve here. That's the flat side, because on this side you want it to actually snap, so you need the other piece there. So you just put it on. So this part is the back. I don't know if you can see that pretty well. All right, so again, I have it a little bit on, and then I'm going to use the back side of this, and it works really well. And just make sure everything is snapped, and there you have it. I'm going to put a little notebook in, and then I'll close it. All right, so the notebook is inserted. Then you can close it and bring it over, and it should snap on, and there you go. Hopefully this is helpful, and enjoy.